Hive installation will be a little different from my husband's. And I'm sticking it in an empty frame. Excuse me, B. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh,
all right, fam. So we are purchasing a couple of packages. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this new journey. With the bees.
Hey!
hello.
So, a couple of things. I know I don't have it on bee veil. It'd be a good test for the bees. Two things that the Wilbanks wants to remind all the beekeepers of is, you notice that these come 5 per rack. And if you've never seen how they package bees, you know, there's 100 bee colonies going down the row, and they're in front shaking bees. So quite often within a 5 package rack, those bees all came from the same hive.
Okay.
So that causes a problem that if you're installing 2 or 3 packages and you put the boxes next to each other, they're the same bees and they have a tendency to migrate to one or the other. And you walk back out there the next couple of days and one box has, 15,000 bees and the other boxes only have a couple of thousand each. So they always recommend that, in a bee yard, you try to separate these, across the yard, put something between them so the bees just don't smell the other hive. We'll spread some things out today. The second thing is normally you do install late in the afternoon. There's a lot of foraging bees in here. So these bees got caught this morning.
They want to go back home.
They want to go back home, and when they fly up here, they think they're going home. I just relocated them 50 miles away. So they're going to go so far and then they're just going to be lost. And they're not going to come back here. So they recommend late in the afternoon. So having said that, it's not really late in the afternoon yet. But we're going to install it anyway because we're going to do it in a method that doesn't shake the bees out, disturb them. We're just going to very calmly install them and let them go. Close this up. I didn't check the front entrance. It's probably a small front entrance. Yep. So not quite sure how that's designed on the bottom. I'm going to look in here and I'm going to double check that this fits his box. It does. So this will work for what we're going to do on this one. But I'm going to rearrange some of his frames real quick. So Cynthia, did we walk over to the junk porch over there and just see if you find a tin, a deep tin? So I'm just taking this apart to see what's in here. Nothing. Comb. He's got comb on the bottom of this one. He's got comb on the top of that one. Bottom of that one. Nothing there. He's got that. So what I've done is I've grabbed 2 that have comb at the top because I'm going to put the queen either between there or I'm going to lay her on top. And when she comes out, I want her to go straight to the comb. Very, very unusual. Now just a test question for you. You know what the bees are going to do with this?
Fill them in.
Yeah, they'll drop comb down in between it. You'll be lucky if it stays straight and merges, that's great. These blocks will interfere a little bit with it, but I've never used this design before. Not fond of it already. Alright, so you did find one, good. So, but I am going to use these, and I want these to be next to each other. The 2 that I'm going to make sure the queen is on top of. If you have drawn comb, it's always better to have at least 1 frame of drawn comb.
Okay.
Period. And this is made for another frame, but he has a sliding spacer board. I'm just observing what's in the bottom to close up that extra space. lot of work. So that gets us ready for the bees. We've already talked about the afternoon is preferred. We're going to do this very calm with them, and then we're going to close them up.
Afternoon, we thinking like 6 o'clock?
Nah, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
Okay.
I mean, it's just now, it's 1 o'clock midday.
Yeah.
It's the midday hot weather that this install doesn't work very well in, because of the older bees come out and they go home. They just don't know that, you know, they're 50 miles away. So these bees are going to be this high up. That's a long ways down to the bottom for them to get out. We're not going to shake them out. We're going to just roll them on top of the queen cage. It's going to be the most simple method we have. And I'm just going to use a safety box on top of it. I'm just checking to be sure it fits, because I'm going to leave that cage in there. And clearly this should fit, since his stuff is bigger. So, did you say there's a name to this one? That
There's a guy who's doing this on YouTube. He's trying to perfect the core insulation of a piece of quarter-inch.
Oh, so he's going. If I'm walking out of your video, sorry. He's going to improve on something again. And this is just an old box. It'll work just fine. So, having said that, y'all all know what the inside of this looks like.
It's full of bees.
Oh, did you say yes or no?
No.
You said no. So these are stapled very, very hard. This particular standard hive tool works the best to get these pieces of wood off. No bees are going to come out. This is how tight that fits in there. So here's our queen. Try to pull one out. And she is in there underneath that little piece of metal. So this is a real queen. This is an extra one. Now you're not wearing gloves. We can have fun. If you hold this, when the bees get loose here, they'll go to you because they'll smell her.
Really?
So yeah, the trick you can do is put this in someone's pocket and say, hold on to her, and they're standing there and the bees start landing on it. It's a mean trick.
Gravitating like magnet.
So a couple of other things that I think is good for the bees. You notice the bees have spread out in this cage because they warmed up a little bit. They're trying to get out. So that tells you got quite a few bees. So one of the tricks is to get some cool water and mist them back down.
Is that sugar water?
This is actually not sugar water. It's just clean water.
Okay.
And if you've ever done swarms or whatever, when water hits bees, they get chilled. Yes, they're cold-blooded, but they get chilled and they'll ball back up. And they'll also stop flying. Now on my side, it's very clear. I was completely a wall of bees, and you notice now they're all pulling back. They're just pulling back. So these little staples are in there very, very hard. They're always in the way. You can't lay this back down flat, but it will cover that hole, because when I pull this out, some bees are going to come out. Okay, and I know I'm not wearing a bee veil, but we're going to do this anyway.
Why aren't you wearing a bee veil?
We're going to. Actually, I couldn't find my bee veil. Okay, so now there's our queen. So she's in there. Test question for your memory. At the bamboo farm, they were trying to tell me something. Mr. Reggie Wilbanks always marks his queens the color
Green.
blue.
Is it blue?
Why is everybody saying green?
I think it's your shirt.
He's done blue for decades.
Oh.
Patrick took over, and they're all
To
green.
me, that's not a blue. You're talking to somebody who's an artist.
Let me see what the blue. That you're supposed to see it.
Yeah, I mean,
Is it blue? Oh yeah, I see it blue. Okay.
do you see that blue?
Yes, I see.
See, it looks green to me. So everybody was arguing with me, saying, no, he's always marked. Reggie always liked blue.
I think I've got an eye problem.
Well, let me look at it
on
again.
that blue.
So that color is not for the year. Okay.
It's not really. It's a green blue. It's a
Okay,
blue
so
green. Yeah.
so what color?
Definitely has green in it.
If you're following the international standards, what color is it this year for queens?
I have not looked.
I don't know.
Tell them.
It's red.
Red?
It's
Oh,
red.
really? Okay.
Two times in a decade you'll get red.
What's the little saying? One of the sayings for it.
You got one on your shoulder.
Will you keep No, will you keep good bees? Will you raise good bees? Will you raise good bees? 5 colors. Every year it rotates. 6th year it starts over. So will you white, yellow, red, green, blue?
So let's get ready to start.
So that starts 2000. Is it 2000 or 2001? 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th year. So I think it's 2001 starts the white. And internationally, white, sometimes they use gray instead. So they're not red, so it's not a marker
Okay.
for the international tracking of what year was she born.
Right.
We could have it marked red, but we would have had to have paid extra $4 for that. So when they're marking their queens, you know, you have to pay in advance for that, because then the girls switch colors for you. So you hold her.
So that is a color to say that it came from him. Okay.
This color,
Yeah.
it's because they like that color.
Okay.
That's all it is.
All right.
But his dad said he could see the blue better. But that looks green to me. So
I say
Patrick
it's a
may have
blue-green.
changed the color.
I'm still looking for her. She hasn't turned over.
So now that we have her out, though, I can set the bees aside, and we can decide how to put her in the frame. Now he's got drawn comb, and he's got plenty of space in this hive. And I'm looking to see, this is on plastic foundation, and this tells you what?
That they draw that out. What you
Well,
talking
it's drawn comb, but it's two different colors. Why?
Some brood, some.
Right, so this comb was in a beehive before. They the queen laid eggs, they reared brood. And so, you know, they use propolis, the casing is there, the pupation goes through, bingo, the bee comes out, so the cells get darker and darker. So this is real comb that's been used. So because he's got this funny design, let's see, that's even darker. We'll use this one. So we're going to remove, she's already removed it for us. Or it wasn't there, he didn't cork it. So he didn't cork these because he used the metal cap. So it's already ready to go.
Okay.
So if you're going to hang this in the hive vertically, you need to be sure that the candy plug is up, because
Yeah, I think you take it because you don't want the bees to die and block the hole.
right, if a bee dies in
That's
there,
what the candy plug looks like? Oh, okay. So that's open, and then the other side is...
is corked. That's how they put them in there.
Okay.
Yeah, they just...
So the cork is up.
So there's no cork on this one. The candy plug is up.
Okay. Okay.
Because think of a dead bee. If a bee dies and you had the hole this way, they eat through the candy, and then all of a sudden a dead bee falls in the little channel,
Right.
and it's plugged.
She can't get out.
So you always do the candy plug up. One method.
Okay.
Method number 2,
Let me see. Okay, yeah.
that other one has actually a cork there too. Method number 2 is if you're just going to embed it in comb like this and stick it between 2 frames, you'll never have the plugging problem, but always make sure the screen is available to the bees. So this would be the mistake, is just if you plopped it in there this way, you basically suffocate her. Because they do need oxygen. They just don't have lungs. So this method, we're going to make it very easy. I'm going to actually turn it this way. They got plastic foundation, so this is very, very good to do this method. And I pushed that really hard, and it's in there. Okay. I'm going to check the other frame, and just to see if he has a frame that's not such old hard comb. Good, he's got one here. I'm going to use that one. The darker the comb, the harder, the older it is. So I'm using comb that is softer. It's lighter in color, right there. And on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up. I'm going to mark it. just by pushing it. I know where it's at. Should have made an imprint for me. Didn't make much of one, did it? And you can eyeball it. I'm just going to a little extra trouble because I want to be sure that his installation is good. If you press too much wax down in there, you end up having a problem. So does that make sense? There's the slot. Missed it. There's the slot that's going to fit it. So does that make sense? I'm just taking advantage of what Jared brought. So I'm going to do this method. I have no doubt that will stick that cage very, very well. There's no cork plug there. I'm going to push that together. I'm going to keep it together. I'm going to put this back in the colony. Line this up. I'm actually going to look to be sure it stays right there. And this kind of odd design, I'm going to push this over so the queen is there. Even if she fell down, she's not, because the wax is up underneath the cage too. She's not going to fall down. For the most part, they're good to go. The bees can get to her, the bees can feed her, the bees can get to the sugar plug. So any method you do, we'll grab an empty frame. Just an empty frame, no foundation, no nothing with it. So now, because I've done this and that's not rubber band in, I'm going to bump the bees, but I'm not going to use this box to bump them. I'm going to bump them over here, okay? Because I don't want to shape that. So this is the most difficult part.
Great question.
Yep.
Can he still feed her like that, or just to get the candy?
Well, remember
out?
we got the screen pointed down, so they have access to her.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the screen is pointed down.
Okay.
So that screen is in there in this
Like
orientation.
that. All right. Okay.
So they're
'Cause they
proboscis.
need-
They can feed very easily.
Gotcha.
I would not recommend this if you're new.
Do you recommend having the smoker just going in the area and not smoke them?
Sure. Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. I would recommend anytime you're doing it, just rubber band it like that.
Okay.
Take an empty frame, rubber band it. 3-4 days later, you're going to come back and take her out anyway to be sure she's out, and then just put a regular frame back in.
Okay.
You don't even need the two side pieces in the bottom. You just need this top bar.
Something
Does that
attached
make
to it.
sense?
Yeah.
And you put a rubber band on it, she's good to go. I mean, there's all other things you can do with toothpicks and sticks and nails, but try to keep it simple. But this is the most difficult part. The bees are huddled right against that can. So this is the part where the bees come out a little bit. This is also the part that you got to knock the bees off the can, get the can out, the bees start flying out, and then move it over there semi-cautiously, okay? You also remember that I took the queen out, so the queen cage out, so there's a hole over here too. So before I remove this, sometimes even I have trouble getting them out. So you're ready, and so it seems a little harsh to them, but they all went down. This can is a bear to get out sometimes. Okay, there it is. I'm actually just going to put it over there for it to drip. The bees, you notice, aren't hardly coming out. And now I'm just going to pull that can back off for me. I'm going to line this up with where that cage is. I'm not squishing any bees because I left the little legs on, okay? I'm going to give them this to drip in there. They can get up underneath that a little bit for sure. I'm going to line up a hole on it. And that's it. There's nothing else magical about that. You notice the bees are still in the cage.
Right.
Right.
The shake method, shaking them in on top of the frames, you're trying to force them all out the cage. It stirs them up everywhere. And I'm not in the late afternoon, so I now know that when I do the following, bees will calm down in the dark. They're in the dark. They're going to be calm. We hear them though. They're going to work their way down on that comb. It's going to be several hours before they ever really start coming out. Now we're going to hopefully see some come out fairly shortly, but if you shook them, you'd have them flying up everywhere.
Right.
So the only additional stuff that if you were going to be doing, that's an older box, but it'll work.
It's got a few.
The only additional thing that a lot of people do on drawn comb, they do mix up sugar water. And the drawn comb, they spray it so that the bees will spend time licking all that sugar syrup up. That's another way to keep them in the cage. Okay. I just chose to. We could have done that. We might do some of that on the next one, and you can pretty much see what they do. So he's also provided a sugar feeder and everything, but we're not going to. We'll put that in the refrigerator. We won't use this until we come back and take that cage out.
And that's 3 days.
3 days it'll be re-inspected.
Okay.
Yep. Now you got to admit that's pretty simple.
That is.
That
That
was-
was
yeah.
great.
Getting the tomato can out's the hardest part. I used my Hive tool to get started, then the fingernail, then tilted it, and then grab the other side, and it comes out. If you get it out in about 15 seconds, you notice the bees are still all down in the bottom of the cage. They're not flying out.
That was great.
She's smiling.
I feel safe.
I'm thinking I can do this.
Yeah.
You can.
I can.
I mean, you gave some
I will do
excellent
this.
instructions at the bamboo farm, but to see it is actually
Yeah.
even
Yep.
better.
Seeing it really makes it better.
Are they getting out?
They probably are. There's a couple of holes
You
here.
could flip the box upside down. It's probably the bottom that's got the.
Make it a tighter fit.
It might, but they're also already flying. It's a tighter fit on the.
So what Cynthia's saying is this is an old box, and this part is a much tighter fit.
Right.
So what she's suggesting to do is to kind of do this.
Your bottom corners are the ones that are going to get chewed up by
That's
people
better.
messing with the.
It seals better.
Now, just for grins and giggles, what is that bee doing?
Fanny. What
She
you
is
call it?
fanning,
Ah,
but you noticed her rear end
Was up in the air.
Telling
high up
everybody.
in the air.
Everybody,
Now,
this
the back
home.
of that rear end, to use a non-technical term, is a gland, and she can release a pheromone there that tells the other bees, here's where we are. So she's blowing that up in the air.
Yeah.
So that will get the other bees to go there. So she was excited. She just figured, hey, get everybody back here.
Party over here,
So
y'all.
she was communicating chemically.
Over here.
And then the other thing, because of this, even though this is fairly light and big, I just don't want a possum or a raccoon to come out here and they smell something, they start pushing on things. You know, we've had possums. Possums are usually a problem. They go up underneath the beehive and they try to scratch through the screen. Because they've got quite a few possums out here.
We're putting solid boards underneath. That should slow that down a little.
Well, yeah,
That
that's
is
true.
easy. I
That
could do
prevents that. We did use the, there's a
Okay.
big male
I had
owl
to
that'll
do
come
the
through at about
can
5
do it.
o'clock. He came out here one day and caught the possum. And he sat on top of the beehive and took them apart. We came out and I went, it was leftover possum parts
I
drilled
have possums and raccoons.
all over the
I
beehive.
have a big raccoon problem.
So what Cynthia was saying was what we went to, even on screen bottom boards, we're putting solid bottom boards underneath it to darken it, to stop the light from shining in. But that also stops the animals from reaching up, grabbing that screen. So it's kind of a bonus for that. And we went to that method because the commercial guys, they just went, we're done with screen bottom boards. Put a solid bottom board back on it. And one of the commercial guys, Bobby Colson, teaching the day, he said, no, just return your solid bottom boards, and you got 2 bottom boards, so you still have the functionality of the screen, and you've got a 2-inch gap, and you've got a solid bottom board. So the light is now dark again, the hive is dark on the bottom, and the animals can't reach up and smell it and scratch. So,
Hey, Greg.
bonus.
I know a lot of the different queens have different characteristics. What about the Kona? What's anything?
So a Kona is supposed to be a cross between a Carniolan and an Italian, from what I've read on the Kona website out of Hawaii.
Okay.
Very, very high productive bee populations. The problems that I'm seeing with new beekeepers is they install their Kona package and then they go, okay, she's out the cage, I put my box on it, and then they walk away and they let it sit there for 2 months. And the bees go to work so quick that all of a sudden it gets crowded, and bees will detect that there's no more room to build.
Next one.
The hardest part to teach to get across is out of 10,000 bees, you've got bees in each of the age groups. There's that age group that they're high wax producers. They want to build. And if there's nothing there for them to build, a lot of beekeepers are saying that will be one of the triggers to say, we need to swarm. So that second box should go on before 3 months is up. In fact, usually after a month, I'm putting on a second box just to give them plenty of space. So they perceive all that extra space, there's room to build. So the bottom is building out this way from the center, and then they start moving into the top, and it looks like a Christmas tree in there, and then they build out. And then when that outside frame, they get to that frame 1 and 10 or frame 1 and 8, they're starting to build on that, third story goes on. You got to have a place for the bees to be building.
All right, fam, that was some great information from Greg Stewart. He's a Georgia, South Carolina master bee instructor. So we appreciate him for giving us this knowledge. He is over our Bee Club, SEBA, and I'm gonna take that information and go ahead and install my bees. I feel way more comfortable being able to come here and watch him install. So I'm ready to go. So let's go. All right, fam, so we were shown how to do this. They made it look so easy that we're gonna go ahead and try to get it done. All right, so this is installing the package. It's our very first time trying it. I need this, let me not forget. Okay, and we'll be removing the queen. And we're going to close that hold up. And I'm expecting my queen. You may not be able to see her, but she's in there along with her attendees. So try to go ahead and move them out the way. And now I'm going to try to remove this top. Okay, that's removed. That's the side with the queen candy.
So let me see. You took the metal piece off, and that is the queen candy side.
Yes. Alright, so from here, I'm gonna go ahead and move that, and we're gonna take it and install the queen into my frames. So I got a couple of wax frames, and I'm going to press my queen cage into that.
And the queen cage, the screen pod need to be facing down.
Right.
So it's not blocked.
Right. So now I'm going to take the next frame, which should be another wax frame, and I'm going to go ahead and connect them. Now I have the queen cage sandwiched between two frames. That should leave enough room for them to attend to the queen. Alright. Push these frames in tight. Now,
Hold on. Cause you
what we're gonna do is take our empty box, put it over our box with our frames and our queen.
wait. So wait. So you dropped them too early. What he did was he slammed them now because you got to take the can out. Hold up, let me move them. Hold on. Move this one because you need to drop that one. You got to drop that one over here because you got to take this can out. So you gotta beat it on here and then get that can out.
Alright, so now I need to get this can out. Which I'm told is one of the more difficult things to do. So we're gonna put the feed in this box and we're gonna gently turn over this box over the queen. Once that's done, we're put our top on. What you think, babe?
I think you did good. So you spray them with water and it kind of help them calm down a little bit, right?
Yeah. That's the idea of it, you know, general consistency of it.
My installation will be a little different from my husband's. So what I have is an empty frame for my queen. We'll start pretty much the same way. Pull our top off. Keep our top to cover up the hole. And this is where the queen is located, who I can see. She marked blue. Pull my cap off of my candy side. Lay that there. Oh no, I'm gonna put that here. So my queen will go with this side up, and I'm sticking it in an empty frame. Excuse me, B. Excuse me. Oh, look at this.
Just don't smash it on.
And I am going to wrap, excuse me kids, a little piece of tape on the end just to help hold it on. Okay, so I got my queen attached with the screen side down. The candy side is unplug. And I'm gonna put her in beside a screen with wax. Then
You want to put the box on top?
I'm gonna drop this.
Put that box on top of that one.
Put an empty box on top. We're gonna gently, but not gently, drop our beads.
Stick your finger in that hole and use the other side to pull the can up. Stick your finger in the hole. Don't pull it up too high, just enough so you can get the hive in there. Yeah.
Do I need to put this close to the queen or
No,
just
just put it
somewhere?
Yeah.
Flip them over, put them in. Put our top on. I survived, y'all. I
Very
survived.
good, baby.
Our very first bee installation.
All right, fam. So me and my wife did our first installation.
2 of them.
Yes.
It was, I mean, you know, I'm brand new at bees. I really have not been hands-on with the bees, but that was super simple. And we showed you 2 techniques that we were taught just today by Greg Stewart.
Yeah, so thanks, Greg Stewart with SEBA. You know, that's our bee club.
Yes.
We did buy our first 2 packages today, and he did a great job at explaining how to do it, but we actually wanted to go and see a hands-on.
Yep.
So we went back and we actually watched him install a package or 2, and we felt completely comfortable enough for my wife to actually do it.
Yeah, and we were able to show y'all both techniques, with the wax and with one without the wax frame. So they are both super easy, but you know, it's intimidating. The noise is intimidating, and the first time is intimidating, but long as you have on the proper PPE and follow instructions, I think you'll be fine, because now I feel a lot more comfortable with dealing with the bees, and I'm glad that we took this journey together.
I am too. So,
and got it.
I mean, I'm excited, you know, not so much intimidated, but excited on this journey, because I've been thinking about this for the longest, and I'm finally being able to put it in action. Started off with 1 hive, you know, it's still kicking. For how long, I do not know, but I'm excited that I actually have some backup now. So
Yes.
we got 2 more hives. The packages are amazing looking. You know, it's a bunch of bees.
A bunch of bees, y'all.
Yeah.
A bunch. But
We got brand new queens,
and they are marked, so they should be easier to find.
hopefully.
Now we basically leave it just like it is for at least 3 days.
3 days.
Give them time to acclimate and get used to where they at. They'll come in and out, you know, when they get ready. And basically it's just letting them get used to new home. They have a new residence here at Black Tropical. So, and we're excited to have them here.
So we had to wait till later in the evening to go ahead and to install them, because we didn't want them to try to go back to where they came from, which is a long way from here.
Long way. Too long. So yeah, they did explain that the best time to install nukes or packages is in the evening. later in the evening. So, and they seem pretty calm, to me. For my first time, I can definitely do this as long as they stay this calm. So if you're thinking about getting bees and you're a little on the fence because you're worried, if I can do it, you can do it for sure. Not my husband, because he got this. But if I can do it, you can do it. So don't think too hard on it. Definitely do your research. But Bobby here, if you got any questions.
Yeah, y'all know Sherry, she's scared of everything. And she just installed, I don't know, how many thousands of bees. It's a lot of bees.
I heard that this is a nuke, right?
No, this is a package.
It's a package.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard that it's around 10,000 plus bees or so in a package. So I don't know how accurate that is, but it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of bees, and I feel they look excellent. They came from
Wilbanks.
Right?
So we have a Kona queen.
Yeah, so
which
the Kona
is a queen from Hawaii.
Yeah,
which is exciting.
Yeah. And we may not get the Wilbanks queens, but we got these. I think that's all we can handle for right now. Mm-hmm. I do have some swarm traps out, so we'll see if they catch anything. But I want to grow my bees this year. I want to go ahead and get me some hives, and next year concentrate more on getting some honey.
Yeah, I'm here for the honey. So what's your next venture with bees? What do you do after this? I know, do you split them? Because will they grow? Yeah. Like, what are they going to do now?
Well, hopefully they'll grow and get to the point where they need to be split. I will monitor them because the corner queen is supposed to be pretty prolific when it comes to brooding. Mm-hmm. So I got to be careful with them. I got to watch them and make sure that they don't swarm on me because they ran out of space. But I have no problem with that because I'm going to be watching them very closely.
So I have another question. I am a newbie. I mean, some of the stuff I do know, but where are you purchasing your boxes? I like your boxes. They are nice. I saw your swarm traps, which are very nice. Mm. But now to see your boxes up close, where do you purchase your boxes?
I purchased me some wood from Lowe's, and I built them myself. Thanks to YouTube University, I was able to get enough instructions to be able to put the boxes together myself. So from scratch, those are my work.
That is amazing, y'all. I mean, and they are really nice boxes. So hopefully Bobby will be showing us one day how he actually built his boxes, because he got a lot of new tools, a lot of new toys to help build these boxes, which are amazing. So if you're in the bees and this is what you want to do, you may want to know how to build your own boxes. So it's good to be prepared.
Mm-hmm. So I told y'all a while ago when I was building, I tried to build everything we need on the homestead, and I was doing it with the wrong tools, but I was getting it done. But thanks to my wife, we were able to purchase some of the right tools, so I can actually do this stuff a lot easier
and safer.
Yeah.
He doesn't use the back of the truck anymore for a stand. So safe is good. So this has been a great experience, and I appreciate my husband for taking me along and being gentle with me, as gentle as he is with these bees, because it's a little intimidating. But I would say y'all jump in, get you some bees, save the bees, grow your own honey. So many amazing benefits to it. And again, another peaceful and rewarding experience.
Yes. I'm so excited with the fact that we can now count on what we have in our backyard to pollinate a lot of our fruit, our plants, and that's going to be a blessing all in itself. So we don't have to stick around. We ain't got to be like, these flowers, these fruit about the flower, they need to be cross-pollinated.
So let's stay home. Like, we'll cancel a vacation to pollinate some plants.
Yeah.
So now we don't have that issue, and it's a good feeling. So.
All right, guys. With that being said,
don't forget to
like,
share,
and subscribe. Hit that that
hit the bell.
There you go. So you can be notified whenever we release more videos.
Until next time, y'all.
Yes.